Hello, my name is Erik Gulliksson and I'm heading the operations team here at Accedo. I will talk about how we use Amazon Web Services to handle our extreme IPTV growth. So this graph shows the historic and anticipated growth of the number of IPTV devices globally. And as you can see, the expected growth is approximately 25% just for the mobile devices during next year. So back in the days, we used to buy physical servers. And that meant we had to take the servers in a car to the data center, rack them, run some cables, and install the operating systems. After that, we could finally install the software that we wanted. Running in a cloud environment such as Amazon Web Services allows us to add new servers simply by clicking in the EC2 console or making an API call for that matter. And virtual machines are our basic and primary usage of Amazon Web Services. So auto-scaling is a feature available in Amazon Web Services. It's simple yet powerful, and it allows us to connect system metrics with an action. This recurring sequence here describes how an alarm is triggered, and the scaling policy will launch a new instance, and that instance will be connected to the auto-scaling group. And at Accedo, this has become a standard pattern for how we deploy our services. Auto-scaling gives us the capacity we need when we need it, and we only pay for what we use. Another great thing with auto-scaling is that it acts as a self-healing mechanism in that it can replace broken instances automatically. So this graph shows auto-scaling in action over the course of 3 days for one of our services. The left and blue axis shows the number of instances currently in the auto-scaling group. And the right and orange axis shows the average cluster CPU usage. So in this case, we have configured auto-scaling to add one instance when the average cluster CPU usage goes above 30%. As you can see here, that the count would go from 3 to 4. And then, in turn, the CPU usage of the cluster is lowered. And the same goes then for removing an instance when the average cluster CPU usage drops again. Amazon Web Services have global coverage. It has 9 regions across the globe, and we are utilizing something like 6 of those. Choosing a region close to the end user provides low latency, and that gives faster page load times and happier customers. Each region in Amazon Web Services provides multiple availability zones, and an availability zone can, for our purpose, be viewed as a physical data center with a high speed and low latency network. At Accedo, we deploy all critical services in at least 2 availability zones. And that means that we can continue to serve customers in case one of the availability zones goes poof. And that actually happens from time to time. So besides the virtual machines and autoscaling, we do use many of Amazon's packaged services. Some examples are relational databases as a managed service. Anycasted DNS means that DNS will be fast and reliable from everywhere. Big data analytics is something that Nicola will talk on in a later session. Trusted Advisor is a tool that helps us identify underutilized resources and some potential security issues. We also make heavy use of the CDN, and it's called CloudFront, a global content delivery network, useful for caching things, static things like images, close to the end user. And speaking of CDN, this picture here shows the aggregated CloudFront usage for some of our services. It's peaking almost every day at around 1 million requests per hour. And if you compare that to the minimum of 275,000 requests per hour, you can see that it's about 4 times more between, and I think this is a good example of where Amazon Web Services really shines when it comes to dynamic scaling.